We have returned to a conversation that we're having today with Jesse Hill, J.D., Professor of Law and Director of the Center for Social Justice at the Case Western Reserve University School of Law. And the question that I have for our conversation now is, how does your role as Director of the Center for Social Justice at the law school interface with the goals and objectives of the Case Western Reserve University Social Justice Institute, where you serve as a member of the leadership team?
Thank you. I guess I should start by talking a little bit about the law school's Center for Social Justice,
Yes.
which is different from the university-wide Social Justice Institute. The Center for Social Justice at the law school is also relatively new. It's only a few years old. And our primary mission is to help connect students with social justice work and with both with sort of pro bono and volunteer opportunities during the school year, and also in the summer we provide some funding for students who want to go and do public interest work that is not paid. So it's really all, my role there as director of the Center for Social Justice is all about sort of working with students, enabling students to get opportunities to, again, to get some experience working in these areas and to really be able to contribute to the community, which I think is very important. And so, and also just to sort of get outside of the classroom, because law students can be so isolated. We're sort of over in the law school, we're physically kind of isolated from the rest of the university, and students tend to work very hard and to get very absorbed by the whole law school education. And so it's really I think important for them to get out both into the broader university community and then into the broader community around them, because there are plenty of opportunities for being involved in social justice issues right in our own neighborhood. So that's kind of the connection I see also between my work with the Law School Center for Social Justice and the Social Justice Institute of the university, is the sort of student involvement.
Well, given the time period that you were just mentioning, when how long this has been a part of the law school, it seems to me you must have been a major mover in the creation of it. Am I right about that?
Yeah, well, and, I'm not sort of the founding director, I guess. The original director was Professor Lord Chisholm, who was also involved with the Social Justice Institute, and you might know she passed away in May. But I did work closely with Lord Chisholm, and she was really wonderful. So she was instrumental in sort of in certainly in shaping the emphasis of the center around students as well, which I think is really important. So what I'm really looking forward to doing with the Social Justice Institute is bringing law students into some of that work, and particularly I'm involved in the East Cleveland debut collaborative project, and I think there will be a role for students to help with that. And I'm looking forward to sort of figuring out other ways that students can get involved in the Social Justice Institute mission. And a lot of our students, some of our projects through the Law School Center are also very much involved in the East Cleveland community. And I have some students who work at the East Cleveland Library doing on the Ohio Benefits Bank, which is where they help residents get signed up for benefits online and so on. Online, to which they would be entitled, and also help with tax preparation and things like that. They held an event there in connection with the university's Martin Luther King Day celebration. They held an event at the East Cleveland Public Library involving, again, tax preparation issues and giving out resources, information about free tax preparation and tax credits that residents might be entitled to and things like that. So I think there's a lot of room for connection, and I'm looking forward to sort of exploring that more.
I remember when I did an interview at the library, and I heard from the staff there about the involvement. Of course, I'm always very interested to hear about Case Western Reserve University students and where they are involved. So now you've given me the backstory about how that all came about, and also you're speaking very enthusiastically about how students respond to that opportunity.
That's right. You know, they're actually just really craving these opportunities. I mean, they're maybe not all students, but a lot of them really do want these opportunities. But you know, they're like I said, they're busy. They feel isolated. They don't feel like they're here for an extremely long time. They don't necessarily know how to get connected. So I think it's really important for there to be some sort of institutional structure to get students connected and to let them start, you know, making a difference or getting involved right away. And I think it benefits everyone. I mean, it can benefit members of the broader community, but it also benefits the students in making them feel like they're really connected to this place where they're studying, not just, you know, here for 3 years and then go on to something else.
Well, as a proponent, which is what I am, of experiential learning, I think that that's what you're referring to. And are there other opportunities there through the law school and what you're doing, or do you project other opportunities that you're perhaps going to be pursuing?
That's right. Well, there's something that I'm not personally involved in, but that is very important at the law school is the law school clinic, where students have the opportunity to work representing actual clients who come to the clinic for help, low-income clients who can't otherwise afford a private lawyer, to work on a variety of civil or criminal matters. But, you know, it is something that sadly or surprisingly, I think law schools have come very late to the experiential learning game. Aside from clinics, which have been around for a fairly long time, it's not something that was traditionally thought of as part of the curriculum. And it is something that I and others have been involved in trying to bring into other aspects of the curriculum. It's not just this clinic that is something that we do on the side, but it should be a part of all of our teaching. So yeah, I agree. I think it's very important. The social work school and other schools have been way ahead of us
for a long
on that.
time. It's interesting, you know, that it finds a place now, or perhaps it's been longer than I know, but I always just am very enthusiastic about it when I hear about it, and you're bringing us up to the moment with what you're doing.
Right.
Tell us more.
Well, let's see. Another thing that I've just been speaking with some of the students about is doing something it's called a poverty simulation at the law school, which is it's a half day or a day long event where and it's kind of elaborate. They're working with some nonprofits in the area that do these. That basically the idea is to give students an idea of which, you know, many of them don't have, of what life is like when you're poor, when you are a low-income resident of an urban environment. And it's a really fascinating, I mean, it's very well done. I haven't observed it, but I've been speaking to the students and the others about it. But where, you know, you sort of have the students who participate, there are volunteers who play the roles, sort of, and then students who participate as, you know, low-income people trying to figure out how to navigate this sort of red tape and bureaucracy that is in every aspect of their lives, sort of, and how difficult it is to access various services that they might need and things like that. So because I think, you know, again, something that's really missing or isn't seen as an integral part of the law school curriculum is this this understanding of what it's like to have poor clients and what sorts of challenges they face that are very different from, you know, the typical scenario where it's assumed that students are going to be, you know, representing corporate clients who are, you know, business MBAs or something like that, right? It's just a very, very, or who maybe they don't even have a personal client at all in some cases, you know, but that's a very different kind of legal practice from what some students will end up doing, where they're representing clients who come from very different backgrounds and who have a very different set of challenges. And so I think that's another really important thing that we're going to try to get going at the law school. We're also last year, the Center for Social Justice was involved with putting on a gender-based violence awareness week, which actually a number of student groups were involved in that. And this year we're sort of going to be the umbrella for those student groups to come together under again and put on Gender-Based Violence Awareness Week again this probably in October, sometime this fall. And that was a wonderful, extremely well-attended event. I was really amazed. It's one of those things, you're surprised how many people will turn out on a Tuesday night for a movie showing or something like that. So that was a really wonderful experience, and we'll be doing that again too.
So all of these events, I mean, I'm very interested in not only the role you're playing, but the success you're having with it, and discovering that you're actually preparing students and meeting a need. How do you go about making these developing these understandings of you were just referring to it, people who for whom this is a need, talking about people who are not able to afford regular fees that they would be charged for legal. How do you go about doing that sort of thing? You find, well, you tell it.
How do we go about finding clients or finding?
Yeah, how does the match come about?
Because I'm not directly involved in the clinic, I'm not sure how. I think often the Legal Aid Society will refer because they have so many restrictions now on who they can represent and what kinds of matters and so on, and they have limited resources also. I think that they refer a lot of clients to the law school, but it's also certainly the relationship with legal aid is another one that we're really interested in fostering more, because they do so much good work in this area and take on so many of our students and educate them in a lot of ways that I think that they're really a valuable partner potentially in the future. So legal aid is another, that's another area that we want to really relationship that we want to really develop, I think. But I also have these two student fellows who work with me. They worked with me last year, and they're going to continue to work with me this year, basically on a volunteer basis with the center, and they're fantastic. And they've really, I can't take too much credit because they run the show, Joe Senemo and Hillary Cosma, and they've been coming up with different projects and putting on programs on a shoestring budget, and really keep making sure that the Ohio Benefits Bank program keeps running, and they're the ones that are really organizing this poverty simulation. And so they've been fantastic. I'm lucky to have really dedicated students, and it does show you that students also really want these opportunities. When I talk to prospective law students who are considering coming to Case, many of them say, this social justice center is one of the things that drew them to the school or made them decide to apply. So, I think it's...
I think the student body in the law school must be, I'm assuming this, I could be wrong, the male-female. Is it pretty equal?
It's more men. It's not quite equal. It's more, 60-40, somewhere in that range.
And from that, I'm going to my question about the kinds of things that you're doing in terms of social justice and linking it with your own background and how you moved in the way that you did. Are you finding a gender component there?
Yeah, certainly. I think that gender issues are present in a lot of social justice issues. It certainly... just when you think about poverty itself being a burden that's disproportionately borne by women and children, of course, and the connection again with, reproductive rights. Although I think when we talked about it, I was speaking about it as being, initially I started out doing litigation around abortion and issues like that. The concept of reproductive justice is so much broader than that, and that's really an area in which I've tried to start, expanding my own thinking about what it means to really have, choices about your reproductive life and control over, childbearing and having children when you want them, and being able to have children, being able to afford to have children. It's all part of the, a much bigger picture beyond just, individual reproductive choices. And so, I do think that it's all tied together in a very global way with economic justice and gender justice.
Mm-hmm. You sound very enthusiastic about everything you're doing.
Well, thanks. I just feel very lucky to be able to do this job. It's wonderful.
So you've realized something that you were hoping for or perhaps imagining, and it has come about to be something that has been so fulfilling. I say not fulfilled, but fulfilling, and it continues to go on.
Absolutely.
So what are your hopes for the future?
Oh my! Well, I guess I'm thrilled that Case has started to recognize, social justice as an area of importance for the university and connection with the community. I mean, I think for me, my own vision within my work within the law school is for a really connected law school that's connected to the broader university community, but connected to the broader Cleveland community and students who are really engaged in all the best senses of the word. I think that's my hope. So
that's a hope that carries a lot of joy in everyone's heart to hear it. Thank you very much, Jessie.
Thank you, Gladys.
Hill, and I think that our audience is going to be very comforted and encouraged by everything they've heard here today. Thank you so much.
Thanks.